What it is, what it was, what it could be, y'all. Welcome back to Disc Golf Justice. The kind folks over at Discraft sent me a little care package in the mail, and it turns out they got some new plastic coming out, some recycled ESP. When I first started playing disc golf a couple years ago now at this point, I thought it was crazy that manufacturers weren't doing recycled discs. I know there's AGL and then obviously Trash Panda, and I think they're really paving the way and I love what they're doing. But it just blew my mind that like all manufacturers didn't have a recycled option. Well, I'm happy to say Discraft has now gotten on board some recycled ESP, and I got a Zone, recycled Thrasher, and I got a recycled Force, and I got a little surprise disc as well. I'm not sure if this is recycled plastic or not. Feels very similar to the other 3 discs, but it's a Paige Pierce test flight disc. So it doesn't even have a name on it. A friend of mine told me that he thinks it's called the Drive, and it does feel like a driver, but I don't even know what it's called or how it's supposed to fly. So it'd be cool to give this a little test run and let you guys see how it flies. So I've never actually thrown the Thrasher or the Force in regular ESP plastic, so you guys are gonna have to make a decision for yourself whether or not this recycled plastic makes it more flippy or more overstable. But I do actually have a Get Freaky Zone, and I used to bag an ESP, regular ESP Zone, so we'll be able to tell if these are less or more stable. They feel very similar in the hand, in terms of hand feel. I'd say it doesn't feel quite as good, at least on this Zone. The other ones feel normal, I suppose. But this ESP Zone doesn't feel quite the same, I guess, as regular ESP. Maybe a little less grip, I'm not sure. But it still feels great in the hands. I still really like it. So, and I have a feeling this Zone's gonna be making the bag. So we'll start off with the Zone. I am dealing with a bit of a hip injury, so I ain't gonna be throwing 100%, but start off on hyzer for all of them. Hung it a little wider than I wanted, but I like the glide on that. That could be really useful depending on how it beats in. I'm hoping it doesn't beat in super fast, but I just lost my RPM Kia, and I loved that one in conjunction with my Get Freaky because that one skips and had a bit more glide. That one could replace it. But see the Thrasher, this Thrasher could replace my Hades as well for my turnover disc. Oh, yeah, that's flippy. I put the, holy smokes, that's going though. Oh, I just hit that building. I don't even know how, I barely threw that. Oh, I'm upset that it hit that over there because it's probably gonna be even more flippy now, but that was gigantic and it looked like it was gonna finish. Wow, I like that Thrasher, man. All right, let's try this Force. Hyzer. Held it. I did throw a slightly nose up, but I mean, it's kind of hard not to do on hyzer. Held the hyzer. And then let's do the old Paige Pierce test flight. I think it's called the Drive, but not sure. Put it on hyzer. Also threw that a bit nose up, but it held it. It's actually fairly beefy, had a nice little finish at the end. I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with that Thrasher. It doesn't look like hitting that brick little building down there did any damage to it. So hopefully it still flies the same. I like how effortless distance and easy turnover that was. I didn't think it was gonna do that. I will throw those all on hyzer one more time. I'll do hyzer flat and hyzer and then also do forehands. And this time I'm gonna throw the Zone and then throw the Get Freaky Zone afterwards. So you can see that. Threw that a bit low. Oh, it's still beefy though. Threw that quite low, but it held, it held. We like that, we like that. I'll try to throw this low as well, but odds of me doing it twice in a row. That's the shot I wanted for the first one. I love that Get Freaky Zone. What are we gonna do next? We'll do the Thrasher again. So this time, hyzer, but I'm gonna aim way more left. That's so nice. That's so effortless. Just an easy hyzer flip up turnover. Might have a little finish at the end. That didn't have a lot of height. We'll go with the Force hyzer. I'm gonna be aiming more to the right again. Yep, held it the whole time. And we'll go with the Paige Pierce test flight disc. Held it the whole time. I can't tell the difference really between that Force and that new Paige Pierce disc. They seem very, very similar. And again, I don't know if that Paige Pierce test flight disc is in recycled plastic or not. So that Force went a good 10 meters, 10 yards past the Paige Pierce test flight disc, and I feel like I hit them like the exact same line, same amount of hyzer. But yeah, that force went a bit further. And my Get Freaky zone went a little bit further than the ESP recycled plastic, but I also threw that one kind of bad into the ground. And I'm really impressed by the Thrasher. I'm actually only gonna throw one more each for the backhands. My hip just ain't liking this, so but I'll throw a couple on forehand. Let's go to a flat release with the zone. My flat releases also come out with a bit of Annie, FYI. Yeah, it came out slight Anheuser, but just fought. I like that, man. As long as it keeps that stability, I don't know how well the recycled plastic will hold up. I'll throw the next zone on top of that. If it's durable, I mean, that's awesome. Also came out a bit of Anheuser. I feel like the ESP one just got a little bit more glide. I'll double check once I get down there, but this one might go roller. I don't know, I'm gonna try to throw it flat. Threw it a bit high, but yeah, that could, I feel like that'll be a nice disc. I feel like that's what I want my Hades to be. It's a little bit more flippy than the Hades, so when I want to try to roll it, I think I'll be able to, and when I want it to turn over, it will. We'll go test flight disc. That came out quite a bit of Anheuser. Still fought back though. I like that, it's pretty stable. There's absolutely no wind right now, and I'm throwing maybe slightly uphill. That's a bit of tailwind, I guess. That also came out Anheuser. Like I said, I'm not great at throwing flat. I'm a hyzer release guy, and when I do try to throw flat, it tends to come out in a bit of Anheuser. Well, you'd be keen to see where those two just landed next to each other, because it looked very, very similar. Oh man, I both do and don't apologize for all the bird noises going on right now. I mean, it's kind of a vibe, I like it. I'm in Australia, it's really cool, the birds they got here, but they're pooping all over on this field, and I've gotten so much poop on these discs already. Anyways, the force once again outdrove that test flight disc, not by a ton, but noticeably about 5 to 10 meters further, and I guess it just must have a little bit more glide than whatever this test flight is. I think it's called the Drive. The ESP recycle did go a little bit further. I think it's got a little bit more glide than the Get Freaky, but I think that's true for regular ESP as well. And the Thrasher didn't go that far because it cut rolled. Anyways, I think I'm gonna actually try to throw these flat because pretty much all those came out on Anheuser. So it'll be better off if I just try to throw flat again instead of purposely throwing Anheuser when it's really not my forte. That wasn't at that pole, it was a bit right of the pole, bit Anheuser, and it didn't fight all that much. It didn't fight all that much. That was a bit of a grip lock though, we'll say. Another grip lock, but that's good that I matched it. It's good that I matched it, right? Consistency, that's what we want in disc golf. Let's go the Thrasher. My hips feeling it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to get to the forehand section, and I'm not even a forehand guy. Throwing that a bit nose up, and on Anheuser as well. It's hurting. Hit this one. I shouldn't be throwing right now. I said I wasn't gonna throw for a month after I injured it. That was a pretty decent flat. That was pretty decent flat release. I like that disc. It's not like crazy stable, so you can get some distance out of it. You know what I mean? I don't know how it would do in a headwind. Let's try the test flight. I think that was a bit nose up, but also a bit of Anheuser, so they'll cancel out a bit. Man, I'll tell you what, no more backhands, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. You're gonna have to take those results and live by them. All right, thank goodness the backhands are done. I'm gonna rest that for, I ain't throwing another backhand for a month. The things I do for y'all, so you can see it. We'll move on to forehand, starting with the ESP. I'm not a great forehander, but it's usable on hyzer. A lot of flutters, but that's all me. Held that pretty well. Held that pretty well. I'll do the the Get Freaky, try to match that same line. Less flutters on that one. We'll go Thrasher. There's not really a point in me forehand. Maybe if I try to, this might be good for my forehand. Power down a lot and just try to smooth it on hyzer. That wasn't bad. Look at that. We're gonna get good distance out of that. I think it helped that I threw it nose up, but it'll work. Let's try the force. Held that really nicely, real torque resistant. Yeah, nice. And we'll see this test flight as well. That was probably the best hyzer of them all, but that was just me throwing. Held that very well. Didn't go as far. All right, we'll do these on flat next for the forehand. This is probably my preferred release for forehands for sure. Still, I'm not a forehand guy. It's gonna get a lot of flutter. I mean, yeah, went pretty much dead straight, but my flutters kind of put a little bit of ante on it. It came out flat, but my flutters kind of turned it a bit. Did finish at the end. Try the same thing with Get Freaky. That came out on a bit of hyzer and cleaner. I think they could complement each other. I have a feeling that ESP, since it's recycled as well, on top of being ESP, it'll beat in a bit, and it might be a little touchy forehand flick kind of guy that I could get working into my arsenal, or like a turnover forehand. That could be nice. Let's try the Thrasher on flat, or we're just gonna smooth it. Nice, easy, smooth. I mean, I don't know, you tell me, did I come out on Anheuser? It came out pretty smooth though. I need to start doing that more with my forehands. Nice and smooth. See how stable this force is. It's pretty beefy. It's pretty nice. I like that you can throw it on forehand and backhand. All right, let's try the test flight disc. I think that came out on a bit of ante, but that's gonna be massive. That's a pretty big forehand for me. The test flight disc beat the force this time, but I really got on that one, put it on Anheuser. We'll throw one more with all of them on Anheuser. I'm gonna really try to smooth them, nice and smooth, Justice. No need to force them, just down there. Some height. That's a bit nose up. My most used saying over here at Disc Golf, Justice. That's a nose up. Let's see the ESP. I think that was a bit better of a toss. We'll try the Thrasher, see how this goes on forehand. Really smooth, Justice, really smooth. Baby Annie. Oh, or you could throw it up in the sky. That'll help it a lot. We're gonna get a... I'm not a forehand guy, ladies and gentlemen, but my backhand's out of commission too, so I'm a nobody at the moment. Let's try the force. I like how this force feels in the hand. I've never thrown a force. This is nice. I do like it. It feels confident in the hand too. Might need to get a regular one and see how it flies. Annie. That was pretty good. Will it come out? I mean, that's down there. I feel like this one outdrove it on the last one though, but that wasn't a bad Anheuser. Let's try if we can do it again, 2 in a row. Twice or it's luck, as Simon says. That one's gonna be really big. Maybe I am a forehand guy now. Check me out, the new forehand guy, Forehand Justice. I'll be out here on your next course soon, coming at you. All right, y'all, what do y'all think of this recycled ESP plastic? For me, I think this ESP recycled zone is definitely going straight into the bag. Seems slightly less stable than your stock out of the box ESP zone, and slightly less stable than my Get Freaky, but has a little bit more glide. But it's not flippy. It's not like a jawbreaker zone, like how you throw it at a couple trees and next thing it's a hyzer flip disc. Like up next, the Thrasher. This is going straight in the bag, folks. I can smooth it. It's sneaky torque resistant on the forehand. I was really trying to super smooth it so I didn't roll my wrist in that, but it's what I wish my Hades could do. Like I'm not good at throwing giant Anheisers, so I can't get my Hades to roll. And sometimes if there's a tailwind or depending on the headwind, I'll want my Hades to turn and it doesn't, and other times I think it should because it's super flippy before in a cut roll, but this time it doesn't. So I feel like this Thrasher is definitely gonna take that place because it's not a question. It's gonna hyzer flip up and turn and then have a little bit of finish on it. I'll have to test it out in some wind. This force and this test flight disc. This force is interesting, man. I'm really liking it. It's like straight pretty much with a little bit of finish on it. It's not crazy stable, but it's not flippy. Like it holds the hyzer on flat, it turns a bit, but finishes, and on end hyzer, it fights out of it at the end, and it feels comfortable on forehands. And the same goes with this test flight disc. It felt the exact same as the Force, but I would say if the Force is a 12 speed, I'm assuming this is 11 speed. The rim's a little less wide than this Force. It's slightly thinner, and it always went a little bit short, except for a couple of those forehands at the end where I really got on that Anheuser. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this new recycled ESP plastic from Discraft. I think it's awesome that they're hopping on board the sustainability train and getting some recycled plastic, 100% recycled, out there to the world, to the consumers. That's what I love to see. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. If you want to see more, make sure you smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future content, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.